So this is a surprise. I got a fly. Oh, it pooped. Wow, I caught that on camera. Yeah, that guy just hatched. Well, sometime in the last couple hours. So it's been about a year since the first video I've done. And this right here was behind the tent, the tarped off tent area. This is how it looked back then. So this is beyond the tarp over here, and I really don't know what's going on over there. And I just keep going. And this is how it looks now. Got the wheat growing. These ones are probably about 18 inches tall. And right here, so this is April something. The first wheat berries right there. So it's either a deer or a rabbit, I'm thinking. Came through and grazed down a lot of my clovers. Did a lot of grazing. They're looking pretty good. This one's got the first bloom. And, you know, this is a tiny little guy, you know. But, like, that little flower head will eventually be, like, these first two joints of my finger, you know, once this thing's full grown. Like, they get big, these guys. And you kind of see just a beautiful color. Well, I don't know if the camera's picking it up. But it's like a nice, rich red burgundy. And that'll all be, you know, red. Another one starting to bloom. So this is like a spring garden update right here. Clovers are starting to bloom, and the wheat is starting to seed out. You know, just barely. You know, I mean, it's got a lot more to go, but it's getting there. Did this thing this year. So this is you know, raised bed that I had over there. Took them out to put in the mulberry tree. So I decided to put them over here. And now this is my peppers and tomatoes, more or less. Got some on this side, 6 beefsteak tomatoes. There's one that started sprouting yesterday, maybe the day before. A couple of them have sprouted so far. That looks like it was a double seed. You know, I soaked these seeds in water to kind of help them hurry along. So, you know, I counted them and actually planted them. And I got some poblano peppers. Yeah, they're poblano, they're green when they're unripe, and then when they ripen, they turn red. And then they're chili peppers. Make some chilies. These are some little baby spinaches, and they're starting to sprout. It's kind of the idea here is these are all, you know, beefsteak, poblano, green bell pepper, and then Roma tomato. The Romas have started to sprout. I got the spinaches, and I was going to do lettuces over there, butter crunch. I soaked the seeds. I was waiting for the seeds to start putting out a little root, you know, and then I would plant them. And the butter crunch hadn't put out any roots yet, so I didn't plant them in here. I was going to, but I forgot about that. I accidentally planted them back there. Kind of one of those things. I got a bunch of perennial flowers mixed in there. I can't really remember. Maybe some Galadrium poppy, something like that. I don't know if, maybe this is one of mine. Like maybe one of my butter crunches or something. Or maybe one of my black seeded Simpson lettuces or something. Those two kind of look like non-normal. Those are whatever. Some kind of weed. Last year's holly seeds to sprout. None have sprouted yet, so it's not looking good. And I got another I think that's 420 or so. I got another 400 holly seeds soaking in water, and they're just starting to get moldy. So in general, these are going to be tree nursery beds. So this is big. Not looking good. I think he's dead. So he's got a little bit of green right there, but that's not enough to make it. He's not putting out any roots. So I'm gonna call this a failed attempt. Blueberry, they're still looking good. Let's see what this fig's doing. I wanted to see if one of these figs would have some roots. This guy's completely shriveled, no green left. Yeah, these little end ones, there's the end of the fig branch. Those were pretty small. Blueberry, not doing good. But these are the raspberry cuttings. This was a little stub and some roots, like maybe 3 of them. They're doing good. They've taken a while. This is a miracle wheat right here. That was a wheat berry. Walking across there, it must have got stuck in my shoe or something, like in the tread of my shoe. So I was sitting down here. So here's my new stove. Cinder blocks full of sand, kind of give it some thermal mass. Pop this out, throw in some wood. Pop that in, can do whatever. My coffee thing fits in through here, but these are just some nails, so I can take off this front part, to open it up to put a big pot in there. I got it back, kind of reflect some of that heat in there and help direct the smoke up, but I don't want it airtight because this fire needs air needs oxygen, so it's, bunch of cracks and crevices behind those rocks, in between those rocks to let some air in, and then, plenty of air gap so that the fire gets its fuel. Oh, yeah, the wheat. So I was over here, and, this is during the winter, an unusually warm day out during the winter, and I was, putting sticks on the fire, getting ready to, making my morning coffee or something. And I grabbed a stick over here, and a wheat got stuck in between my fingernail. My fingernails were longer at that point. And I had this wheat thing stuck in there. It's like, wow. It must have gotten dragged in the tread of my shoe to over here. And then while I was grabbing that stick, it just happened, my finger just happened to snag it. I didn't see it there. I was going for a stick. Chance had it that it got uprooted over there, but then chance had it that it got picked up right there. So it's kind of like, might as well plant it over here. This is where the strawberry trees were. I moved them. None of the other things have sprouted, so it's looking like just growing trees from seeds is really hard. Unless they're strawberry trees or apple trees. Those seem to be the only ones that like to grow from seed. Yeah, it was too dark in the last update video. Like the footage, you couldn't tell what was going on, so I cut it off. But, these are some gojis. They're doing alright. Oops, that's so. Blueberry. I don't know if you can hear that. It's a turkey in the background gobbling. Sowing the blueberries. Goji berries. Some of the blueberries, these are little tips. Let's see if they would take. They didn't. You know, they're drying out, you know. Got the figs. Doesn't look like much, but these figs are late to bloom. This one is the first one to actually leaf out of like the actual fig trees too. The fig trees are doing little. This one's got that. That's like a outer shell, and that outer shell is gonna crack away, and then a leaf will pop out. You know, that's kind of a leaf that's expanding inside the outer shell. You know, that one already popped out. Mulberries are doing good. That's a mulberry. It's a mulberry. This was the third mulberry right here. I'm pretty sure it had leaves when it was inside, but it didn't really like to transfer when I moved it out here. And there's a. This is where I put the strawberry trees. A strawberry tree, strawberry tree, strawberry tree, strawberry tree, strawberry tree. A lot of them didn't make it to transfer, you know, from their little baggies. You know, there's 3 to 4, 2 to 4 in each baggie. So it hassled the roots a lot, but some of them made it. This guy right here is a fighter. Half of his root was exposed, so I piled up some dirt around it. And then it got blown away or washed away, so half of his root was exposed again. So piled up some more dirt around it, and he didn't even care that his root was exposed. Like, you know, kept getting exposed. So that's my favorite strawberry tree. He's a fighter. These are some Red Delicious, Red Delicious, Red Delicious. Those were in there. And then I don't know what these are. One of these is a Gala apple, and the other one is a Granny Smith apple. So these are kind of like 2 special ones. 3 Red Delicious and then 2 off-brand, you know, different ones. So basically, these are going to be just some tree nurseries. Root beer tree is blossoming out. Looking good. So this one is on half of compost, you know, my big poopy compost pile. Kind of layered in some of the potting soil and some, you know, which is like mostly peat moss, and then compost. So it's kind of like a layer of compost, layer of potting soil, layer of compost, layer of potting soil. I just liking that. Mulberry. Looks like the very tips of its branches froze this winter. Died. But other than that, it didn't mind the cold. Started leafing out at the bottom. Now the leaves are kind of going up the tree. So I did some store-bought lettuces and things. So from Walmart, salad greens. Right now I can, you know, this provides like, so I got 6 kale, 6 red leaf romaine, 6 spinach. And it's like a pack of 6 of these little baby plants for $3.50. So it's kind of like, it's in this warmer temperature. I can't buy lettuce. It's just, it goes bad too fast. Shredded iceberg lettuce. And then I got 2 romaines. And these were kind of individual, bigger individual ones from Lowe's. And those other ones were from Walmart's. But it's like enough for right now. A sandwich, you know, putting some lettuce, kale, spinach, whatever on the sandwich. This is one of the onions that, you know, I took out of one of those 2, you know, when I was uprooting them and replanted them. So it's just I accidentally whacked this one off when it was too dark to see when I was doing that last video. I swatted it off. But look at this. This is just like a monster. Probably about 2 foot tall. Probably ready for harvesting it, you know, and once they fall over, these little things fall over and die, start turning like this, they're ready for harvest. You know, that's as big as they're gonna, you know, the most growing that they're gonna do that season. You know, they'll probably put out a flowering stalk, but I don't need them to be a full-on big onion. You know, there's monster garlics. So the garlics and onions in here, everything in here is just loving that cow manure. Oh, so I went over it with 6 inches of this top dress. I use that big pile of compost I had over there, used it in that, and then top dressed all the beds. And that was a lot more than I thought it was. It ended up being about 6 inches that I top dressed with, so it's kind of like with these lettuces, I just got my little digging stick. I just kind of poke through, create a little tunnel in that compost, and then put the whole little potted plant right in that little hole. I don't even put it in the dirt, so they can send roots down into the dirt, get more nutritions, or it's nice and airy, the compost. It stays moist, but it's also airy because it's mostly pine needles, so they get plenty of oxygen. Yeah, so these things pushed through the compost. The lettuce that was over there never pushed through, so now that lettuce is just being composted, turning into food. A seedless blackberry, getting some little blossoms going. They haven't opened up yet, but probably in a week or so there'll be little blossoms for the blackberry. It's kind of what I did. I just buried, here's one of the blackberry branches. Here's where it forks. And that little one goes under the ground right there. It goes under the compost. So what I was hoping was, I was doing these little sprouts, that it would do that over there, and there's one right there, and it would put out roots and then a new shoot. So I'm just gonna see what we got right here. Yeah, so you see that? It's like a little baby root right there. So in the future, I was hoping I would get a lot more of these little sprouts going all along the thing, but maybe it froze during the winter, because that was the tip of the branches, or is this too thick for it to, oh, here we go. So I guess it's just, here's another one. I guess it's just too early, in the spring. Maybe like later in the spring I'll have more of those shoots. But then it's kind of like you can just cut the stem right here, cut the stem right here, and now you got this new little baby plant that you can plant somewhere. So, hoping for a bunch. Here's some tops of carrots. These ones got moldy, but it looks like they're gonna make it. Another one. So last year, I'm guessing it was the squirrel the armadillo, pulled out my carrots and ate them. But now it's got like, a bunch of, here's a little baby one. It's got a bunch of garlics and onions around it. So I'm hoping that smell will kind of deter the squirrel from coming over here. And I pee on this too, not often, but every once in a while I'll pee on it, so it's got like the yarn smell, which will hopefully keep out the squirrels. This right here is my pea pile. 4 peas. What do we got? Pine needle, potato, pea pile. So I'm seeing if I can grow potatoes and pine needles. With potatoes, they don't like a lot of nitrogen in the soil, and it's like the onions and lettuces and trees love the nitrogen. So this is kind of a low nitrogen environment. Just garbage bag full of pine needles. And these are store-bought potatoes. And the stores, coat them, you know, or the growers coat the potatoes with anti-sprouting chemicals to keep them from sprouting out, you know, so they store longer. But this one's starting, you know, so I soaked these in some water and rubbed them down, trying to get that chemical off of them before I put them in the ground. And you know, these has been in the ground for a while now, a couple weeks maybe, and they still haven't rooted out, but it's got some baby sprouts starting. So I'm thinking in a couple more weeks this will actually have roots. You know, it stays nice and moist down in here. And I pee on this maybe once a week, you know. I don't want to give it too much nitrogen, but I don't want the squirrels. Squirrels are the mice going in there and finding those potatoes and eating them, you know. Thinking, you know, the pee will give it just a little bit of nitrogen. You know, like chemical fertilizer is pretty much just urea, crystallized urea, real concentrated pee. So this is just, you know, you pee on it, it waters it, and it gives it some little fertilizer, and it, you know, it's kind of like a repellent, you know, I'm thinking. You know, keep the critters from nosing around in it. I got, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 potatoes in there. And it's kind of a, oh yeah, if you have a lot of nitrogen, the potatoes will grow a lot of leaves, but not a lot of potatoes, you know. So you end up with small or a few potatoes and a lot of leaves. It looks cool from the top, not for the harvest. I'll end up with a big, you know, maybe 2 or 3 foot tall pile of pine needles. And it's like, oh, I'll just use that for the compost toilet, you know. Fresh material for the toilet. So that's the potato pine needle pea pile. Little strawberry flower. He did some, his first flowers were way down in here. This was the first one to flower. And, you know, they never got pollinated or anything because they're so sunken in there. But he pushed through the 6 inches of material just fine, you know. This one, I want to say, had some flowers. Got a strawberry flower. Strawberry flowers. Strawberries, most of them made it through the pine needle mulch, but not all of them. Like this guy just barely made it through, you know. He's just, you know, he may not be enough through, but we'll see, you know. Started off with 3 strawberry plants, you know. And I put one there, and one in the pawpaw planter, you know. So this one I put over here is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that have pushed through and are strong, you know. And there's a 6th one that's buried. So it's kind of, you know, 1 is now 6, you know, and these 6 will be 36, you know. You get plenty of, you know, and they put off their little baby tendrils, you know, maybe, you know, that'll be an undergrowth of lettuces, you know. I probably won't put any strawberries over there, but I might put some strawberries in these flower beds, you know. Went over the flower beds with the mulch too. Oh, did some, you know, crushed up egg shells around all the fruit trees. And I haven't really fertilized that one yet. You know, that one's got a, you know, peat moss. What is this? Black cow manure, compost manure. You know, that setup right there, those 3, you know, are mixed together over there. So, I mean, it's got built-in fertilizers, but once those actually get taller, you know, the plants actually start to sprout, I'll go over it with some eggshells and some fertilizer. Like, eggshells are good for the tomatoes, like blossom end rot. They'll get sunshine blueberries starting to blossom out. So, you know, pruning these things, like when you're doing your prunings, you want to get the branches to kind of spread out, you know, so it doesn't get congested in the center. That makes it hard to harvest. It creates too much shade, you know, for the plant itself, you know. So kind of the branches that were growing in, or like into itself, are the branches I pruned with, you know. Maybe the Chicago fig. Looks like it, you know, still, you know, I had these things covered with cardboard and garbage bags, but it still froze. You know, the tips still froze. It looks like it's alive right about here, but maybe right here is where it starts dying. Maybe. I don't know this last. Maybe right here is where it starts dying. I don't know. But, you know, it's starting to blossom, bloom, you know, leaf out. A little, you know, the hard casing split, and a leaf will come out right there. And a leaf will come out right there, you know. So the figs are finally starting to leaf out. Garlic. No, what is this? This is one of the wild garlics that I planted here, I think. Yeah, so this is one of those ones that taste really nice. These should be like chive tasting. Hopefully I didn't pee on this last night. I peed on one of these things. Oh, I peed on that one last night. Broadleaves pushed through the mulch like champions. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure every broadleaf pushed through that mulch. So I went around this one with regular sweet onions. I don't know what they are. A little ferny guy. So this is going to be yarrow. So it started off just those 3 little plants, like somewhere around in here. But I'm guessing it did, you know, little root creepers. So it sprouted up there, and it sprouted up there, and it sprouted up there, sprouted up there. So I'm thinking it spreads a lot through like root tendrils. This right here is a yellow onion. You know, this is a full-grown onion. I had it in my basket over the cooking stove, and it sprouted these little, you know, this is a full-on bulb, but it sprouted some little sprouts, so I planted it, you know, see if maybe that'll turn into like an 8-inch bulb or something, see how big that bulb will get. I don't know what this is. It doesn't look wild, but I don't know if it's one of mine. You know, I'm just gonna see what it turns into. It's not mullein. So the broadleaves and the yarrow are doing good over here. And I got a bunch of onions. So I went around and scattered, like, you know, perennial flowers over there. I think I did a lot of echinacea and poppy around there, under the mulberry perennial flowers, and miscellaneous there. This is pink lemonade blueberry starting to flower out. This will make like a light purple blueberry rather than an actual blue blueberry. Some of the thornless blackberry. Some of my toilet paper that got blown by the wind. Yeah, with the log wall gone. This log wall gone. Blows toilet paper around like crazy. So, you know, there's thornless blackberry. That's where I had that pot, and it grew the roots down. And then when I pulled the pots, some of those roots stayed, and now they're kind of like root cuttings, sprouting new thornless blackberry. So I think that was a Chicago. This is the Olympian. No, that was the Olympian fig. This is the Chicago. I don't know. I'd have to check. But this was my favorite one. Got the biggest at the base. Did the most figs. This one had like 20 figs on it. You know, and only 3 of them ripened, but it's already got some little buds going. Goji berries. So with this, you know, these are just flopping, these goji berries. So when I prune these, I just prune back the ends of them, you know, because they're too long, you know. So I just shortened them. That's why I don't got that many goji berry cuttings. There's another sunshine blueberry. I'm not seeing any flowers on the goji berries just yet. Goji berries seem to have been the best flower, or the best berry so far as, you know, surviving, you know. And these are some monster strawberry leaves. I mean, these are just incredible. It's like, I didn't think strawberry leaves got this big. Now these, we got a, what do we call that, a flower? Raspberry. This is a thornless bush raspberry. I made a couple flowers, but never actually fruited last year. Last year had a rough time of it. Kind of hidden away in there is a strawberry. Here's a strawberry. This raspberry though is loving it. He's doing really good. So when I first did this was like early summer. I planted this, and you know, you can do cuttings in the summer, but it's stressful. So it's best to do it in the winter. You know, that's when I pulled those ones. Pulled them from over here. But last year, I tried doing a cutting right there, a cutting right there, and a cutting over there. And that may be the cutting, or may not, you know. But this, none of those cuttings took. I thought they didn't take, but this one actually took. You know, it sprouted up right here. But it looks like this thing will kind of grow over this whole bed throughout this summer, or next year or two. This bed will be kind of taken over by the raspberry. Here's Pawpaw. He's got some little baby leaves. Oh, so at the base of these trees, I did some pepper plants. I haven't sprouted yet. Kind of a mini sweet pepper, you know. Kind of the idea is the pepper will just grow up, you know. So these are store-bought, like, mini sweet peppers, you know, orange, yellow, red, kind of a mixed colors. So that kind of pepper, I don't know what it's actually kind it is, you know. I got it at the base of every tree. I kind of thought those grow up each tree, you know. So while I'm watering the tree, I'm also watering the pepper plant. So I'm growing things really tightly, but the thought behind that is it's less water, you know. So I set up a water collection on this back one. Goes into here. That was a lavender that I actually bought, you know. I've been trying to grow lavender from seed, but it's just, I have never had luck growing it from seed. So I was just like, yeah, I might as well just, you know, it was like $3, so I figured I'd just go ahead and buy it. A lavender plant. And these are like purple onions right here, tiny little baby ones. So I got some purple onions ringing this one, and then some white onions ringing that one. These are, I think they're both sweet onions. I like sweet onions. These broadleaves are champions, you know. Look at this guy. This guy is just, oh yeah, look at all those. A lot of little, you know, gnat guys. I don't know, you know. Fruit flies waiting for the figs to go. They're like, hey guys, the figs are starting to leaf out. Yeah, those things like the compost pile. The other thing that likes the compost pile, where are you? Probably have to pee on them. They actually burrow into the pile to get at the juicy stuff in the center. And that buzzing is all honeybees. Three right there. Yeah, the soldier flies aren't really out yet. The honeybees are. They love the compost. Oh, And those little gnat things are, you know, they like to compost too. Yeah, these broadleaves are doing really good. Over here, they're actually starting to grow stalks rather than just being, you know, laying on the ground. They push through the compost top mulch, no problem. Scattered some more perennial seeds. Finished doing the rock rings around them. Mixed luck back here. That's the female hardy kiwi. It's leafed out nicely. Doing good. I might actually get some kiwis this year from it. This is wisteria. I want to say purple. Chinese wisteria. It's just a flowering vine. But it's starting to leaf out. And maybe I'll get some flowers off of it this year. No flower buds yet. And then kind of the sad thing is, another hardy kiwi right here. This was the male hardy kiwi. Growing up. And it hasn't sprouted any leaves yet. So it looks like it may have died. You know, it's still early in the spring. Maybe the root ball will do something. Yeah, there's a garlics back here didn't do that good, you know. Planted some more of those, you know, store-bought sweet bell pepper. I just took the, you know, the red, orange, yellow. I just took those seeds out of 2 of them. So I got some more of those pepper seeds back here. Soaked them in water until it looked like they were starting to root, you know, and then I planted them. I haven't sprouted yet. These front ones are the butter crunches. So I was going to do these butter crunches, you know, soaking those seeds. I was going to put them over there, but I forgot about that, and I put them over here, and then after I put them over here, it's like, oh yeah, I was going to put them up front. So I got some butter crunches, lettuce seeds up front, you know, in the front of these things. And along the fence line, I got the pepper seeds. Peppers kind of grow up. Scattered a bunch of perennial flowers, like just all kinds of variety of perennial flowers, you know, like that's got 2 kinds, this has got 2 kinds, that's got 2 kinds, that's got 2 kinds, you know. So I harvested the seeds from the marigolds and the zinnias last year, those annuals I had in that front planter, and the black-eyed Susans. I put some of the marigolds and zinnia seeds, you know, that I'd harvested, just scattered them, you know, around pretty much the whole, everywhere. There's just a lot. I put them everywhere. You know, you get, when you harvest your seeds, you get a lot of seeds, so you can just plant them willy-nilly. This is Carolina jessamine. It stayed leafed out all winter, you know. So, you know, it's got its old winter leaves are starting to die off, you know. Those are the leaves that made it through the winter. These are all fresh leaves, you know, the old winter leaves on these blueberries. These blueberries kept some leaves all year, all winter long. You know, here's the old winter leaves. And, you know, they're dying off. And then the new spring ones are coming in, you know, to replace them. So, I mean, this Carolina jessamine looks kind of ratty, but that's just because its old winter leaves are dying off. And it's putting out its new leaves right here. It didn't flower last year, but maybe I'll get some flowers out of it this year. This is a yellow flowering vine, Carolina jessamine. That's a grape. I got 2 grapes. One of them's purple and the other one's white. Seedless grapes. I can't remember now which one's which. There's the other one. It's doing pretty good. If I had to, I got it written down. You know, I got a picture of it. You know where everything is. I'm guessing that's the white grape, right there. Like some kind of a strange name. This one has a little baby bud. The little butterflies. But those flowering vines, you know, you kind of got to manually wrap them around stuff. The sumac, I don't know if I mentioned that yet. I'm going to keep that tree. I'm doing water collection up front. Gonna pick up, you know, downspout thing. And more garbage cans next time in town. Probably tomorrow. It's supposed to rain heavy tomorrow night. So it'd be nice to gather some of that water. But it's rained enough to where I filled up everything. Nice and full. I actually showered down there using the hose wand on the shower setting. That's actually rather nice. Got some good waters. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times 32, 200, probably about 250 gallons or so of water. But, you know, I may need to water this area, you know, and, you know, I got started up, you know, a new bed, 2 new beds this year, planting beds. So it's kind of a, I'd rather have too much water than not enough. There's my baby. I was missing this guy. You know what they say, right on black friendly, Jack. Looks like one of my milk snakes. I think they're just the most beautiful snake. You're kind of feisty though, guy. He's already kind of like snapping at me. I don't like how aggressive he's being. Really pretty. I want to say the one under the shed was even prettier.